after 6. This is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Today, obviously very cold across mid-Michigan. Nowhere near record setting, though. Look at those record highs and lows, 56 and 27 degrees below zero. So it can get really cold and pretty warm this time of the year. Our temperatures tonight are on the cold side, just not record setting. 3 above zero Lansing, 5 in Jackson, 1 Alma, 4 in Howell. Satellite, or the Doppler radar, I should say, doesn't show really any precipitation, making it inland. So we're done with the snow flurries for tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies for the remainder of the overnight hours. Temperature-wise, oh yeah, it's going to be cold as we dip a little below zero tomorrow morning, and wind chills probably 5 to maybe 10 degrees below zero. Actual air temperatures around 2 below to start the day. We've got a few more cold days on the way, then there is warm weather to talk about. 6 News at 11 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 11.
A shocking scene at an airport in Ontario after a plane crash landed and flipped upside down, sending more than a dozen people to a hospital. It's our top story at 11. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepfer.
And I'm Sherry Jones. 17 people were injured, 2 of them critically, when the Delta-owned plane flipped over at Toronto's airport this afternoon.
Wendy Gillette has the details we know so far about what happened.
We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
John Nelson posted this video on social media just after the crash that captured the scary and surreal scene.
Most people appear to be okay.
Flight attendants and passengers helped others on board crawl out of the upside-down aircraft. Medical helicopters and ambulances quickly responded. Firefighters sprayed down the plane right after it crashed. Delta Flight 4819 was operated by Endeavour Air en route to Toronto from Minneapolis. The airline says 76 passengers and 4 crew were on board.
There was no loss of life. And this is in due part to our heroic and trained professionals, our first responders at the airport.
The airport was shut down for several hours, but then resumed operations. Delta canceled all flights to Toronto for the remainder of the night. Weather could have played a factor in the accident. At the time, there were wind gusts of 40 miles per hour and blowing snow from 2 feet that fell in the past week.
Having flown in Toronto many times, it is challenging with the winter conditions. You have to be on top of icing situations, both for the runway, also for the aircraft. They're going to be looking at wind shears, possibly anything that could actually have turned the aircraft over like that.
The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will lead the investigation, with U.S. teams assisting. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Also in aviation news, the Trump administration began the process today of laying off several hundred workers at the Federal Aviation Administration. Probationary workers who had just recently been hired got emails late Friday night informing them they had been fired. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said on social media a total of 400 employees had been let go, but none of them were air traffic controllers or critical safety personnel.
However, the White House is trying to rehire hundreds of laid-off federal employees who worked on nuclear weapons programs. Up to 350 employees at the National Nuclear Security Administration were fired last Thursday. Some of them worked on sensitive jobs with high-level security clearance, like reassembling nuclear warheads. Then, late Friday night, the department's director issued a memo rescinding more than 90% of those firings.
Closer to home, police were called out for a 3-car crash in Lansing this afternoon.
It happened at the intersection of Cedar Street and Kavanaugh Road.
Take a look. It happened during the afternoon rush hour just before 5:15. While the damage to the vehicles was significant, Lansing police tell 6 News the injuries were not. Only one person was taken to the hospital for treatment. Police have not yet released any details about what might cause that crash. Stay with 6 News. We'll update you if we learn more.
Well, it was a big day for Jackson College. Officials broke ground on the new Center for Applied Technologies.
The building will provide space and facilities for programs that are focused on high-tech jobs.
It's a 15,000 square foot building on the southeast corner of campus. With this new facility, Jackson College hopes to develop the local energy workforce with programs and training in industries like utilities, renewable energy, HVAC, and high-tech manufacturing.
Really excited. This opportunity, this building allows us to provide additional on-campus climbing opportunities for our students who are part of our apprenticeship program with Consumers Energy, but also provide avenues for students who are interested in maybe working at a municipal.
About 2/3 of the floor space in the new facility is dedicated to classrooms. The rest is a more flexible workspace, including labs with ceilings high enough for students to get hands-on training with 45-foot utility poles.
In the meantime, over at Michigan State University, researchers have released new findings that suggest preserving the biodiversity of tropical forests will be harder than we thought. The Spartan researchers and their colleagues from around the world looked at how human activity impacted the mammal species in those forests. And they found creating and protecting habitat reserves was not enough to preserve their biodiversity. The mere presence of humans in the area coexisting with the tropical forest reduced local biodiversity. In fact, according to their model, the number of wild mammal species decreased by 1% for every 16 humans within a kilometer of the protected forest. Now, this research will help inform conservation efforts all over the world.
A bipartisan delegation of U.S. senators were in Tel Aviv today to show their support for the nation of Israel. This comes after Hamas released another 3 hostages over the weekend, including one who is an American citizen. The lawmakers also discussed the future of the Gaza region. They agreed Hamas cannot be allowed to pose a threat to Israel again. However, while the White House has proposed that the United States should take over the region and permanently relocate the Palestinian people to other nearby countries, senators from both parties dismissed that possibility.
The possibility of takeover of the United States.
There's very little appetite that I've seen in the United States Senate for America to take over Gaza. It would be a difficult sell in South Carolina.
The senators were also quick to blame Iran for destabilizing the region and emphasized the need to make sure Tehran does not obtain a nuclear weapon.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We are in the heart of this Arctic air outbreak over the next several days, but there is warmer weather on the way, and we're talking about upper 30s, maybe near 40 degrees, but that's next week. First, we'll look at the long-range temperature outlook. This is kind of a tease ahead of things to come. The 23rd through the 27th of February, most of the western U.S. with above average temperatures. We're just starting to get into it, but then as we expand the time a little bit all the way through March the 3rd, notice how the warmer weather begins to expand to the east as well. So we just got a few days to get through before the mild weather returns. Our low temperature trend shows the cold air, and this is what we're looking forward to tomorrow morning, 2 degrees below zero, near zero on Wednesday. And then we're in the teens by Thursday and Friday, and look at that as we head into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, lows in the 20s to near 30 degrees, so you can imagine what the daytime highs will be like. Doppler radar tonight shows quiet conditions across mid-Michigan. Lake effect snow showers continue right along the lake shore, but nothing too terribly heavy. Storm systems, there's one to the southwest, but that's not really going to affect us here in mid-Michigan, so quiet weather tonight through tomorrow morning. We'll be in and out of the clouds as we head through the next 24 hours, not looking at anything too substantial as far as any precipitation. Could be a passing flurry, that would be about it. Moving into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, Big Blue H off to our northwest. This is the Arctic area of high pressure that's pushing in the cold temps. Until it gets to our south and our east, we'll continue to push in cool temperatures, and it'll take a few days to get here, but later this week, it'll begin to slip to the east, and that's when we can start to look forward to the warmer temperatures. Not warm out there tonight. Ionia down to 0 degrees, 4 in St. John's, 3 Lansing and Charlotte, 3 in Owasso, Jackson at 5, Howell at 4. It is a cold night across mid-Michigan. Wind chills generally running below 0 with 9 below for Lansing. The Ionia wind chill now down to 16 degrees below 0. Feels a little bit better in Jackson at 5 above compared to 5 degrees below 0 in Mason. Skyview Network tonight on the McLaren cam. Temperature at 5 degrees. Winds basically calm, but we had a wind gust earlier today up to 41 miles per hour, and that was what was blowing some of the snow back on the area roadways. Strong winds out there. 2 currently in Grand Ledge. Winds calm, so no wind chill. Our peak wind today was up to 32 miles per hour. Meanwhile, tonight in Jackson, we've got partly cloudy skies. Temperature at 5 degrees. Winds are calm. Humidity 84%. Our wind gust earlier this afternoon all the way up to 37 miles per hour. Final stop in the Hillsdale area where we didn't see a whole lot of snow shower activity today. Current temperature at 6 56 degrees. Winds are calm, but our peak wind earlier today gusted up to 37 miles per hour. As we look at the forecast for tonight, then any flurries come to an end, decreasing clouds, and 2 degrees below zero. Factor in a wind up to 10 miles per hour. That'll give you a wind chill between 5 and 10, maybe 15 degrees below zero tomorrow morning. Tuesday's forecast does not look warm, and it will be breezy, not as windy as today, but with temperatures in the mid-teens and winds between 10 and 15, wind chills will be near zero basically all day long. The 6-day forecast on Thursday, we're up to 22 degrees, then Friday and Saturday upper 20s, 32 degrees on Sunday, and that sets the stage for a warm week next week. 38 degrees, 35 degrees. I never thought I'd say that's warm, but it's going to feel warm. It looks nice. Highs between 35 and 40 each day. A couple flurries or snow showers Monday and Thursday, and probably warm enough that there may be a few raindrops in there as well. So this week we're in the Arctic tundra. Next week it's all going to start to slowly melt.
And the stretch too, like the stretch of warmth, David.
Right. We've got quite a snowpack too, so you don't want to see it all melt at once.
Right.
So when you have the mild daytime highs but cold lows, it allows a slow melt, and that's what we want to keep the river levels in check.
Oh yeah, because you can get ice dams. Oh, it can be ice jams.
Yeah, it gets nasty sometimes here with the spring snow melt, so hopefully this will be a little calmer for us.
All right, thanks, David. Well, coming up tonight on 6 News at 11, Democrats in D.C. are worried the federal staffing cuts will impact our ability to fight wildfires. Hear from both sides next.
Stay with us. You're watching 6 News at 11.